Hello and welcome to Cutting Through the Bull in the post-truth apocalypse. It's so many episodes in, I finally figured out how to say the name.
I got fired after the first episode. I failed in that respect.
I'm Ben, and I'm joined as always by Gaz.
Hello.
And Mike.
Hello.
And we're recording this on the 24th of September 2017. The world has not ended.
We survived!
Because you're listening to this podcast, so the world hasn't ended.
Yeah. I did promise we would be broadcasting through the apocalypse. And we have kept that promise.
We might not be out of the woods yet, because, to clarify, the rapture didn't happen, and
well, we don't think it happened.
Well, we don't know yet, unless
there's only two people that got raptured.
I'm sure.
An elderly woman, elderly spinster in Idaho, or a blind nun in Sao Paulo.
But what about Donald Trump? I thought he was big in with the big G's.
Well,
there's like 650 commandments.
Planet X went by without a hitch.
Allegedly went by.
Right. So, but I don't think we're out of the woods, because you've just brought him up, Mr. Trump. I think he's determined. I think he's thinking, well, if Planet X, he was out there looking for Planet X with everyone else, and he didn't turn up, and he was pissed off, right? And he kicked his little Scotty dog or whatever he's got. He kicked an animal, definitely. And then he was like, do you know what? If it's not going to happen naturally, I'll fucking end it myself. And there's jet planes on their way to North Korea.
They flew as far as they could up to the border, the international water line, and then sort of swerved back with a show of force.
A bit of saber rattling.
Saber rattling is the term. I love that term. Actually, saber rattling. I wish I had a saber.
Totally sums it up, though, doesn't it?
The Rocket Man's loose.
The Rocket Man.
The Rocket. Can you believe? Have you seen that beautiful meme going around? I don't know who it was, but the chief of staff, I think it is. His name escapes me, but it was somebody sat behind Trump as he did his UN address.
Oh God, yes.
And it's a very important. Kelly, that's it.
John Kelly, I think.
And he's literally body language is head in hands, embarrassed. What is happening?
Yeah.
He's listening to a man.
He's threatened aggression against an independent nation. Yeah. And he said that they will be totally destroyed.
Totally destroyed? Who's he been reading fucking Marvel comics or what?
He's Thanos!
He sounds like fucking Doctor Doom. I will wipe them off the face of the map. It's ridiculous. So,
in other news, Trump declares search for the Infinity Stones. You're going to see him flexing a golden glove, surely.
So
I don't get that. You have to explain to me and some
it's Marvel, Mike.
It's Marvel, yeah. It's the whole Marvel's the phase 1 of their storyline is getting to the Infinity Wars where they have to take on Thanos. You've seen Guardians of the Galaxy 1, I know you have.
I have seen that, yeah.
He's in that, he's a dude in a floating chair.
10 films to lead up to get to the big bad guy who destroys the entire galaxy.
Wasn't that the
universe.
Avengers?
No, that's just a step on the way.
Yeah.
There's even bigger bad guys like Mr. Trump.
And the Rocket Man.
And what's true? Because just to update, if this is your first episode listening, I tend to try and avoid. I'm Gaz, by the way. I tend to try and avoid the news at all costs because it depresses me and gets my head going. So if I don't see it as clickbait on Facebook, I don't know that it happened, or if nobody at work tells me. What's Teresa got to say about Donald and North Korea? And is she like, yeah, we'll send some jets too?
No, she hasn't said anything.
So we're not getting involved this time.
She was outspoken against him.
Whoa, bloody hell, Teresa.
Well, only because we can't afford it.
Yeah, probably.
So we're not. It's not like before where we're just like wherever they go.
Oh yeah, but this is Theresa May. She says one thing and does another.
But thinking about it, we may have just launched our new big carrier, the HMS Elizabeth II, which is like one of the American Star ones. It's huge, it's nuclear powered, but we haven't got any planes to fly off it. So going to Korea with an empty aircraft carrier seems a little bit pointless.
Yeah, Yeah, what are we going to do with that? Really?
It's going to be a massive target.
Are we going to shoot from it?
Paint a bullseye on the side. You can get everyone off it, I think, is the idea.
Are they going to shoot from the deck?
We
get as close as we can and throw rocks.
It's going to be filled with wildfire.
Oh, I like it.
They're going to push it in.
That's a Game of Thrones reference.
I don't.
We could do. What was it? What was the original reference to that? Wasn't it the Greek fire? The Greeks used it, burnt on water, didn't it? That was a cat, in case anyone hears a thud.
Yeah, it's a cat, not a body hitting the floor. Nobody got double tapped.
The bodies are not hitting the floor.
Not yet.
Not until SEAL Team 6 breaks through the window.
So, shall we? Oh, just before we.
And then.
We'll announce what the subject is, but before we get into the meat of it, I have a brief news story. But this week's subject is going to be the Heaven's Gate UFO cult. Of 1997. But just before we get there, a brief little story. Now, I don't know where I first became aware of this as an idea, but Disclosed TV have proven it as actual fact now.
Disclosed TV.
Are you aware of the idea of like technology having a sort of built-in lifespan in order to get you to basically, if your PlayStation lasted forever, was built to last forever, you would never need to upgrade.
Yeah,
you talk about planned obsolescence.
Ooh. Well, I didn't know it was called that. But
it's like your iPhone.
That actually happened. It happened like with light bulbs, and the light bulb companies got together.
Because the first light, there is one still out there, isn't there? In a fire station. It's been lit for 100 years or something.
Wow.
They can make them so they're indestructible.
Yes, they could make ones that last forever, but then how do you sell more?
That's it. Yeah. So they got together and they came up with like was it 7 years, I believe, and they made it. After 7 years, it's going to fall apart.
See, well, look, this is an article from Disclosed TV, which was posted 2 days ago from the day of recording. Apple sabotages old iPhones to sell millions of new models, a Harvard study suggests. New research shows that Apple may actually be deliberately slowing customer devices down in order to encourage the purchase of new Apple products. A study performed by student Laura Trucco at Harvard University produced some pretty interesting results. A graph was produced showing an average customer's iPhone slowed down significantly just prior to Apple releasing its newer versions.
Oh, how convenient that is.
Yeah, so it's basically an update will arrive for your phone, you know. I hate updates because my phone always annoys me after an update because it's just slightly different enough to be jarring.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Just things have changed just ever so slightly sometimes.
Yes, but I've just done the update for my iPhone. I have a.
And isn't there an iPhone 10?
There is an
just
iPhone.
Been released.
I have the 6S, the big version of it, because I didn't want to go for a 7 because I can't put headphones into it. I have to buy Bluetooth headphones, and I guarantee you at some point I will lose one of those little buds that go in my ear.
I'm sure they're not cheap.
No, they're like 30 quid a pop, and I'm going to lose it. So I went for the one where it's got a headphone jack because I'm old-fashioned like that, you know. But if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, my iPad is a bit old now. It's probably 3 years old. That hasn't had an update, and it is slow as hell. I suspect they've stopped supporting it.
Probably to
encourage me to buy another. Yeah.
Which is again a conspiracy, I suppose, but also kind of true. And I understand it's how commerce, commerce and capitalism work, but you'd think, wouldn't you? You'd like to fucking think that when you put down your £400 for your new games console, that it hasn't got a 7-year fucking life.
£1,000 for the new iPhone.
£1,000 for the new iPhone.
£1,000 for the new iPhone. Facial recognition. So think about it. Apple will have that data of your face, right? Because you can get. It will be part of your.
And we know that companies are so trustworthy with our data.
Yeah, companies are so trustworthy that they'll get hacked by the FBI or the CIA or MI5 or the SIS or whoever wants to do it. And all of a sudden they've got your face as well as your phone number.
Well, apparently as well, I heard that every voice search you do on Google is saved on a server somewhere. Every voice search ever made by anybody is saved. They say to improve the search, to improve the recognition of language.
The efficiency of the search.
I think it's to create a fucking fake you, to frame you if they ever have to. I think it's and now they're cloning your face, so they're going to
have an avatar, aren't you? They just go to you, put the avatar in.
It's the first step on a slippery slope.
I've seen that film, sort of like Bruce Willis in it. Is it Bruce Willis?
I've been told to watch this.
Are you thinking of the Arnie one where they clone them?
No, there isn't. I haven't seen it, but I was told to see it where you have robot doppelgangers, don't you?
No,
they're clones.
Clones.
They're
clones of robots.
What am I thinking of? I'm thinking of The Sixth Day with Arnie in it.
Yeah, that's a
good film. Yeah, that's all right.
I saw that at the cinema.
So did I. It's good.
Arnold. That was in his weird phase just before Governor, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Where his career was kind of
stalling a little bit. So, but I think it's an underrated film because he did End of Days and that one.
He almost died making that movie as well.
Really?
The scene where he did his own stunt, but the scene where he's sort of stuck in that pool and there's sort of a clear lid.
That's right, yeah.
And he's to swim out. Like, he went the wrong direction apparently and was quite low on air, and people were quite panicky, like, what the fuck?
We can't get Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Very nearly drowned on set. But so yes, that's the news. Apple are fucking you, creating clone versions of you in collusion with Google. And if you pay $1,000 for a new iPhone, in this podcaster's opinion, you are a fuckhole of a person, and you deserve everything that happens to you. You deserve your clone to murder you in the night. You paid $1,000 for that.
But I just want to point out that we love Apple because we'd like to very much get back onto iTunes, and we think you're a fantastic company, even with your child slave labour.
I did say this is the satire podcast. Didn't I? Everything I say is satirical, completely satirical. Apart from when I'm talking about the length of my penis. Shall we get into the subject and I'll stop chatting shit, shall we?
And so Heaven's Gate.
Yes, Heaven's Gate. Now, should we just
should we go back to
just right at the start, I'd like to say that Mike, this was new to Mike, this subject, so I'm very interested to hear what he thought of these people.
Yeah, the best way to say it, people.
It was interesting.
Spoilers, everyone dies at the end. But,
oh, we shouldn't laugh at that, really.
Well, look, let's point out, yes, you could say this is a suicide cult, and it's not a laughing matter, but I'm afraid as we get into it, some of these people are rife for Mickey taking, and it was 20 years ago this year. And if any family members are listening, sorry,
unlikely.
sorry, but yeah. So should we start at the start, Ben? Do you think? Or?
Yeah, 19. Well, we'll go back to the 70s.
To explain who they are and what the hell they are.
Well, all right then. So we'll start in 1997.
Why don't you start at the beginning?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah. Sorry, I contradicted myself. I was like, let's start at the beginning and then tell us who they are.
In the 1970s, the golden summer of the 1970s, one long hippie wank fest.
Free love.
Wasn't that in the 70s? Hadn't things got all depressing by then?
No, they were still pretty new age, weren't they? I mean, Hendrix wasn't dead. Was he dead? No, Hendrix still going. The Beatles were still going.
Yeah, we had rolling blackouts and 3-day work weeks.
Sounds fantastic to me.
Yeah, we had the Sex Pistols and
punk was coming about.
Bin bags for clothes.
I mean, things were a bit shit, but it wasn't a bad time. It wasn't as good as the 60s, but it wasn't as bad as the 80s.
Well, we don't have a clue because we were all born in the 80s, but we're guessing.
Yeah, we're guessing the 70s, but we're alright. Chap called Marshall Applewhite, who was he was a teacher, he was a music teacher at the St. Thomas in Houston, Texas, University of St. Thomas in Houston, Texas.
Right.
Right.
He was a professor then?
He was a music teacher. Did you have to be a professor if you were at uni?
I imagine so.
Yeah, he was a professor, very nice. Didn't mention that. Anyway, he got fired for and I'm going to use air quotations here, an alleged, and that's our favourite word, alleged gay relationship with a student. So to fire him, you'd think there'd probably be a fair bit of evidence.
Well, and it was the 70s.
The 70s, that kind of thing was very frowned on.
Like we just said, Mike, we weren't there, but we've heard stories, we've watched movies.
But I still think homosexuality in Texas was a big no.
You weren't allowed, especially with your student, that's even, you're in a position of responsibility and trust.
Yes.
And it would have been seen as. And was he a religious man at this point?
He was. Well, his father
man
was
of the cloth?
His father was a
touching cloth.
Oh, did you ever see that Touching Cloth?
Isn't it a detective show?
Yeah, it was very funny. The first one was very funny. Yeah.
Todd Carty's brilliant.
Yeah, Todd Carty, your old thing. He is what's his face from EastEnders.
Mark Fowler.
Fowler, the AIDS guy.
And he was in Krull.
Is he in Krull?
He was.
No.
Todd Carty's in Krull.
No.
I swear.
You're Yankee.
Liam Neeson's in Krull.
Well, Liam Neeson would fucking be in anything.
This day and age, definitely.
Liam Neeson will act in anything. He was in that god awful fucking Clash of the Titans film. That was terrible. And Todd Carty in Krull. I'm going to really watch Krull. But anyway, yeah, his father was not Todd Carty's father, Marshall Applewhite's father. I don't know about Todd Kai's father. He might have been a Presbyterian minister.
I think he
Who
had
can say?
AIDS. Oh, no, hang on. I need to really clear something up before we go any further. Did Todd McCarthy...
Todd Kai.
Did he have AIDS
No.
or did his character on
Just
his...
his character.
Right, that's a very important
Yes,
distinction.
he went on to do Dancing on Ice.
I remember that when he went flying
Yeah.
after... That was probably the funniest
You
thing he ever
sad
did.
I don't watch it, I
Oh,
just
right,
watch that clip.
Oh, you said I steer clear of that shit.
Mike's
I
just
don't-
outed himself.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
made yourself as a
yeah.
secret dancing on
Yeah.
ice
Yeah.
fan.
The thing is,
Strictly
though,
every week,
if you
man.
if you go to some...
No.
Because I don't watch this stuff, but if you go to somebody else's house and they are watching that, it is like zombie fodder. It sucks you in, man. It like... yeah, it has that effect. It's formula. It's a proven scientific formula of just that entertainment, Saturday evening entertainment. It's just a formula that just gets
Give me an
people
old
to
house
sit-
party any day.
Blobby, blobby, blobby!
A return from Mr. Blobby, not
Mr. Blobby has returned.
Can I just-
Blubby, blubby, blubby.
Can Mr. Blobby be our mascot, please?
He can be.
If he hasn't been double tapped
How
by the
about-
CIA.
I think
Being
Mr.
shafted
Blobby.
by the Baphomet.
Oh, that's a cool T-shirt.
There's an
Yeah.
image. There you go.
Mr. Blobby being bent over by
Any
Baphomet.
artists out there who could please create
Make that
that for
happen,
me?
yeah. I might have a wank to that.
Sex magic.
Different strokes and all that.
Can I throw a personal hate on TV in while we're on the subject? I know it's drifting away further and further from Mr. Applewhite, but Gogglebox. I don't understand Gogglebox.
Well,
Why are you watching someone watching the show you've already watched or watching a show you've never seen and describing it vaguely to you?
I'm going to make a confession that's going to make you very upset, Ben. Sometimes, I mean, not Gogglebox, but even worse, the same concepts. I found myself getting addicted when I'm quite stoned to reaction videos that are basically, I will watch somebody watching something that I've already seen and reacting to it like a trailer.
Why?
I've seen things like the
wrestling
Red
event.
Wedding and
I don't know, it's addictive. It's
Two
like,
Girls and One Cup.
Wait, but you didn't watch it?
no,
No, you've seen the reaction
reactions
of the
to it,
grannies.
they're funny as fuck, to be fair. But no, yeah, reaction
I was
videos.
hard as a rock.
Oh.
Could I have nails?
Moving swiftly on.
Moving on.
Gogglebox. I mean, come on, it's just.
Okay.
Ben, it's Tribe TV.
It's like Big Brother when people are. It's on at 4 a.m. and the people are watching people sleep.
But Ben, that stuff, we know that stuff isn't made for us.
I know. It just
It's-
bugs me. It just bugs me.
Just ignore it and it'll go
I
away.
can't.
Ignore it, it'll go away.
I can't. Too many idiots watch it. I mean, not idiots. I mean, valued listeners. But yeah. Anyway, Marshall Applewhite. So basically, he meets. Him and he wasn't the sole founder of this cult. He met a former nurse called Bonnie Nettles in the 70s. During his stay in a psychiatric hospital.
Nettles and Applewhite.
No.
Sounds like a detective
Applewhite.
series.
Oh my god, yeah! This week on Nettles and Applewhite. Applewhite's lord is afraid while Nettles investigates the death of a child. Oh my god, this is writing itself!
And to be fair, Marshall Applewhite is possibly the most American name I've ever heard.
God,
Marshall Applewhite. I'm a Marshall, I'm an apple, and I'm white. All of those are good things. 3 good things in one name. You can trust me. Oh, fuck this guy already. Sorry, spoilers.
I don't know why. I couldn't find out why he was in a psychiatric hospital.
Was he trying to treat his gayness?
I'm assuming it was something to do with his firing.
Yeah.
He was probably trying to impress a judge.
Yeah,
Right,
I'm not gay.
Look, Judge, I'll get help for my
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
sex
got Jack
problems.
Nicholson in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, hasn't he?
There you go. What,
Then he
got
goes
the
to
bottom
prison.
line?
He's gone to psychiatric hospital for a
That's
year.
it. Always plead mental.
Yeah.
Always plead mental. I'd rather stay in a mental hospital than a prison. I
That's what Ed Gein
think.
Well, you're drugged up 100% of the time.
Hey.
That is exactly what Ed Gein.
You don't know what's
is.
going on. You don't know what's going on in the world. So
You know who Ed Gein is, yeah?
yeah.
Guy they based Hannibal Lecter off and various
The
other
murderer.
Yeah. He had a belt made of nipples. He had bodies strung up. He had furniture made of skin. He pretty much got off with it. Lived in a mental hospital for the rest of his life.
Did he still have his nipple belt?
He did not. And the way you're looking
No,
at
they
him,
took that off him, mate.
they're not going to let him keep the nipple belt. If it's a nipple belt, then that would be just...
Oh my god.
Oh, imagine that. Oh, Jesus. Yeah.
Stingy gonads.
It will hold your way about. You a hip hop fan?
Why am I thinking of Sting's gonads?
But yeah, so they basically went, him and Marshall and Bonnie. Marshall and Bonnie, that's even got a bit of a road villain air to it, hasn't it?
It's better than Doe and T.
Yeah, well, they went by that.
Which they became.
Well, they went by that because they're musical notes, and he was a music teacher. Doe and T are in the musical scale. Yeah, Doe, a deer, a female. I don't know where T comes into it.
Fuck.
I never learned it that far.
How could you ever give your life to a religion where, like, I chose my holy name based on one of the 5 musical notes? I think how many is there? There's 1 5. But
Yeah.
Do, re, mi, ho, la, ho. Fuck off, Doe. So I'm giving my opinions away too early.
In 1974, they went on a 6-month road trip gathering what they called the crew. Right, and this was that. These people did stay with them to the end, although they did manage to expand on it, and they did get more members.
Well, think about this. It's the mid-70s.
Yeah.
So you've got the end of the hippie era.
Yeah, and this is
and
who a lot of them were. Yeah.
And the whole hippie thing was against the corporate sucking of the cock.
And free love.
And free love.
And drugs.
Applewhite was not against the sucking of a cock.
No, he was not. And we'll come across something later on that will pretty make you side with us on that. Something quite psychological. It's probably absolutely right. But basically, they just they grafted extraterrestrials into Christian theology, right? God was an alien, and for some reason, Applewhite was the second coming of Christ, or at least because Jesus was an alien, and they didn't really think that you were human. You were a spirit. Your body was a vessel.
But they call these things, which is actually a cool concept if they weren't believing it to the point of where they got to, but walk-ins.
That's right.
So essentially, the soul that inhabited that body, this humanly body, earthly body from Earth, has vacated.
Where's that soul gone?
Who knows?
Space.
They never explain that.
Yeah, but
Poor bastard. 1 minute he's walking on the street, next minute, body hijack.
Maybe that's what happens when
You know what I mean?
That's what happens to people. You know, people have really bad trips and stuff like that, who are never the same again afterwards.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what's happened. So anyway, your soul has gone, and somebody from the next level, the heavenly kingdom, a spirit, an alien, has inhabited your body.
One thing
and she convinced him of this while he was in the mental hospital, I think.
Yeah, that sounds about right, because they went on that road trip immediately after.
Now this just sounds like, to me, the beginnings of, it's fairly innocent 70s hippie, like, they could have been high as a kite on psychiatric drugs and maybe street drugs, and just like, yeah man, like,
they didn't take anything, did they?
It was before the internet.
In the 70s,
come on. It's before the internet, before, like, this kind of information was like, like rare. If somebody started talking about this shit and you could be sucked into it and be like, yeah, totally, I do feel like maybe my soul, and maybe that's why I'm gay. Like, because, this isn't my soul,
I'm Space Jesus.
I'm Jesus, Space Jesus walked into my body and he's like, oh, I ain't gonna suck a dick. I'm gonna do some holy
Space
stuff.
Jesus a diva, is he?
Space Jesus, no, he's not a diva.
He wants 74 brown M&M's in a bowl for his I refuse to suck this guy's dick until there's 74 brown M&M's in a bowl.
And people have to, whatever dressing room he's in, they have to remove all the crosshead Phillips screws and put flathead ones in.
It.
No crosses anywhere.
Oh God, no nails, mate. No
nails in it.
Don't leave a nail gun on the desk, I tell you.
No more nails it is then.
It's just super glue and gaffer tape in that dressing room.
Fuck him, you have to stay in a tent, the fucking diva. He should just be glad he's come back to
life.
No,
because they'll use a hammer to put the fucking pegs in.
Triggered! Oh, Ben, you triggered Jesus. He needs a safe space, a safe, genderless space. Sorry for the transgender people. But, fuck yeah, so what were we... So, he's a walk-in. So, an alien, she's convinced him that a fucking alien has inhabited his body.
So the core beliefs of the group.
Here we go, yes.
Right. They believed that the Earth was to be recycled. Now that's not the end of the world, that is literally the human race being sort of either getting off planet because you become more evolved, by being a walk-in, being an alien, and they had a name for that, and it was it's called a T.E.L.A.H, and that is the evolutionary level above human.
Right.
So anyone can achieve this.
If you did as they did, and I mean, so they believe the Earth to be recycled. Those few would survive, and you have to get off the Earth for that. Right? You've got to get off the Earth.
Now here's where me and Mr. Applewhite actually agree. I have been sort of convinced, it's just my belief, opinion, that ancient civilizations have been wiped out by cataclysmic events and the Earth has started again. I think that's happened many, many times over, right?
But wouldn't that take us to the Matrix?
That defies geological evidence.
No, there's loads of proof that there's been.
Don't bring that ancient alien shit into
No, not aliens. There is proof. A guy called Randall Carlson. There's a lot of like geological sort of you got to be looking for it, I suppose.
Abnormal.
Yeah, just evidence of like mass sort of water movement, ice. Like he basically thinks we get hit by comets, every sort of, I don't know. It's happened a few times.
Funnily enough, I did read an article this week that says we are majorly overdue an asteroid.
And it wipes everything out, and then we start again. Like, look. So remember
the giant. The Earth is 4.6 billion years old, isn't it?
Yeah, but there hasn't been civilizations that haven't.
The giant sort of like animals that were around in the Ice Age, those giant mammals like that all died out and stuff like. They were thriving, and humans were just putting themselves back together around that time, I believe. Then we get to this point, and then an asteroid hits. Everything's wiped out. There's no proof of anything. It's over millions of years. I don't know. I'm just talking out my bum. This is what I honestly think that has happened. I really do.
But we've got digs where you can look down the history and you can see the different.
Yeah, but Mike, you're only accepting the official story.
I'm not saying no at all.
Randall Carlson, who gets very frustrated, and he's like laughed out of any. No one will even debate him or allow him to have a voice. Like he's one of the same guys.
Because he's just so wrong.
No, but they're in the same camp of the guys who are adamant that the pyramids are way older than they tell us that they are, and that there's obvious evidence of like water erosion and stuff. Like when the fuck was the last time it rained in, like. They say, what's the official story?
Egypt was a fertile. The Nile is the what's it called? The something of civilization.
Yeah, the cradle.
So you're going for the Atlantis theory.
Which is what?
There was an advanced civilization.
Yeah, I do think
sank into the sea.
I don't know if we went. I think if a meteorite hit us, I've heard it described. It would be the cataclysmic, the way it would, because they found like mass graves of mammoths and stuff that all. Why did they all just drop dead there and then in one go? Like it'd be like it'd be
the one
like
that killed the dinosaurs wiped out about 98%.
Exactly, it'd be like a giant. There'd be fire in the sky. There'd be giant waves. There'd be mountains being thrown across landscapes, like massive.
Yeah.
It would complete devastation. Utterly nothing left.
We've had
Flash forward 5,000-6,000 years. There'll be nothing. No evidence of that civilization. It would all be just gone. I do think that happened at least once.
We have had extinction levels.
I think that's happened once.
In many extinction levels where nearly 100% of life has been extinguished.
Yeah, but still, I mean, it can't have been that cataclysmic because we are quite humans as a species. We're quite frail and
but one or two things. Only takes a few to survive. Though,
that's what I mean.
What it takes is 50 years for the sun to be blocked out. No plants. That means no food.
Yeah.
Everything dies.
Yeah. So I do on this one with Mr. Applewhite. I do think. There's a possibility the Earth does get hit by stuff and sort of a bit like a horrific restart button.
Not Applewhite, you're thinking of.
Oh, what's his name?
The one you just said, Randall.
Oh no, because he says the Earth gets recycled.
Oh, recycled, yeah.
Yeah, so I do. That's where he I got intrigued by his induction video that I watched because he starts talking about that off the bat, and they're quite apocalyptic times at the moment.
We will post the induction videos onto the Facebook page, and this seems like a good time to plug the Facebook page, which is Cutting Through the Ball in the Post-Truth Apocalypse.
Just Cutting Through the Ball.
Just Cutting Through the Ball. Sorry, the Facebook page is Just Cutting Through the Ball, and the Twitter is @ApocalypseBall.
Yeah.
And so is the YouTube.
I
am on Twitter. You can follow me if you really want to. I don't post anything interesting apart from Simpsons quotes.
Who are you on Twitter?
I am @Baron Von Carter.
Hey.
Or Soviet Love Hammer, whichever way you want to follow that. You on Twitter?
I am.
And you are Gaggy Van Kak, @Gaggy Van Kak?
Yeah.
I'm not on Twitter.
Oh.
But so yeah, Mr. What's his face?
So
Is it Applewhite?
So yeah, the only chance to survive the Earth being recycled was to leave it. Okay. Now, there are some techniques to do this, but I want to point it out that they were against suicide, but defined it as a chance to progress, as in to the next level.
I heard some videos of him calling it, I should have wrote it down, but an act of a revolutionary act.
Yes, because they were against it. And remember, his core
he changed
is
his tune.
Presbyterian.
He changed his tune a few times. I know this lady, we might be jumping ahead, Nettles.
Yeah. No, we're still in that timeline.
Yeah, so they weren't lovers.
No.
But they were, I think, in love deeply, but in a sort of platonic,
sort of
soulmate type. Definitely, she was an incredibly important person to him, and she, dun dun dun, starts to get ill, does she not?
She did. She died.
Of cancer, was it?
Yes,
brain cancer. Yeah.
This is where it gets interesting with their shifting ideology, because didn't he not say that she was God essentially?
She
an older member.
A God walking.
She essentially, the idea was that he was the Jesus alien in human form, and that she was not quite God, but certainly the Holy Spirit,
right,
in human form. But they had a thing. The evil space aliens who were called Luciferians, who falsely represented themselves as God, and I presume that would be the organised church.
Can we get
in
to
America.
what they actually believed?
Yeah, I'm just going
just
to do this.
before we start that, can we just do a pause for a urination
that's pretty good idea.
celebration?
Yeah. And we are back.
We are back.
So they saw the body as a vehicle.
They called it the vehicle.
They called it the vehicle. And to get to the next level, there were certain techniques, or certainly.
So I'd say they're effectively body snatchers.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, you're walking along and someone hijacks your body.
Well, I want that to happen, though.
Yeah, if it's true.
No, you don't want it to happen because they're taking your vehicle.
Well, no, because that's how I progress to the next level.
He's progressing through your vehicle.
No, but they haven't.
When he leaves, you come back, or if you're dead, you're dead.
But wait, though, I don't think.
No, because that's the point. Is I leave and I become the next level. Otherwise,
I don't think the disciples hadn't reached it yet. He was the only one that was a walk-in. Him and his lady friend.
Oh, I see.
I think the disciples are all just having to build to that level to be good enough to be accepted at the next.
So we get to the Scientology kind of parallel there, where you have to go through several auditings, and well, I'm sure Scientology will be a future episode. That's crazy. You want a cult? There you go.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, no, because they have many lawyers, so I fully endorse L. Ron Hubbard's teachings.
Yes, me too.
Because aren't you Podsafe? Fuck it. You're all lunatics.
Yeah. No, satire.
Too poor to sue. Fuck you.
Satire. No, nobody's too poor for Scientologists to sue.
So would you
we shouldn't even say it. They've got bots that infiltrate the Apple bots and all the other bots.
Too many
look out for
bots.
the name. They look. Yeah, we're not allowed to mention them.
Well,
we say Scientology.
Well, L. Ron Hubbard can SMN as far as
we
I'm
meant
concerned.
phrenology.
Oh, phrenologies, yeah.
Phrenology.
Well, you would say that, guys. You have the frontal lobe of a stage pen coach.
Thanks.
I was trying to rip off The Simpsons and I messed the quote up. Sorry.
I was going to say it made no sense.
Phrenology, sir, just Mr. Burns like, his frontal lobe is too large, and he's like, sir, phrenology was dismissed as bunkum 100 years ago. So, you would say that, Smithers. You have the brachial-cortex of a stagecoach pan or something like that. Yeah. Well, random Simpsons quote.
Oh man, to the listeners at home, I'm trying to construct a special kind of cigarette, and I just realised I made 2 roaches.
That's good. That shows you're planning ahead.
Yeah. So. Back to these vehicles.
The techniques to enter the next level.
So did we get it across to everyone though then that your vehicle, they see your body as purely just a vehicle, and I literally saw somebody in their exit video, and their exit video is 2-camera interview they give the day before the mass suicide. and they talk about one guy is literally saying it's like going from one car to another car. I'm leaving this vehicle behind and I'm going on to another one. It's the happiest day of my life.
He was easily impressed by a new car.
He's a fucking idiot. I'm sorry.
They hate the vehicles, don't they? They despise the human form.
Yeah, that's what they want to get to.
Well,
They think it's just all the human urges are a distraction from what they're trying to get to. There.
Probably because Marshall
Do you know
was a homosexual.
Because they all lead to dirty gay things that my daddy doesn't like, and I'll get thrown out of the church and put back in the psych ward. So I've got to start my own religion where there's none of that.
Yeah.
He actually says addictions, drugs, and pursuit of knowledge. So even pursuit of knowledge, he
Oh, but knowledge is power.
But he didn't have a lot to fucking say though, did he? Really? I watched a lot of him talking, man, and it is all just like it is.
He says you have to hate everything in this world before you can ascend to the next level. So what's the next level, Ben?
It's the evolutionary level above humans. T.E.L.A.H.
But they haven't got bodies. We're just taking his word for it. This is one of the things that pisses me off about this cult. So can we? I don't know. Am I jumping ahead to say that the Halle Bopp comet, right?
Halle Bopp.
Halle Bopp, is that how it's pronounced?
I prefer Halle Bopp.
Well, the freaking comet thing was coming round, and he was convinced that by committing suicide around this time,
in a dignified way, because you couldn't just do it any odd way. It had to be dignified.
Your spirit would go up and join the spaceship, which was concealed within this comet.
His comet's trail, yes, following behind it.
How did they know that this spaceship was equipped with spirit picking up technology?
Because they turned us specifically for the job.
Oh, they put a lot of faith. I mean, how did they might have had the wrong type, the wrong connector, or like you don't know. I mean, that's very wishy-washy to expect your spirit's just gonna. What, they need a special spirit receptor dish, I imagine.
Some kind of dish.
Or something. What kind of spaceship is this? A ship constructed of thought? Of light? Is it beyond my feeble human comprehension?
Well,
yeah, because you're not the next level above human.
He says
you're not a T.E.L.A.H.
He says we might still be able to join him. Didn't he? He said it might not be too late yet.
Well,
I think 20 years on, we're probably pushing that. I mean, 20 years on, we can laugh at AIDS.
Let's be honest, give it a couple of years and I might be tempted to join him, the way things are going.
I must admit, when he was talking about how the world works and the corruption and the fact it's pretty much beyond saving and all this, I was kind of agreeing with him. I was up to that point, I would have been with him.
What about? Oh no, I'm
Mike, have you constructed yourself a Star Trek style uniform? Have you started calling the kitchen the excubulation lounge? Whatever. I just
every
made
time
that
I leave
up.
him, I'm on the away team.
But did
can
anybody?
Can I just ask you if you've got a holodeck? Because I'd like to visit a holodeck.
I know you would. You would be pleased.
I mean, Riker was always on the holodeck. You know what he was up to. What happens on the holodeck stays on the holodeck, my friend. Right, okay, give us some philosophies, Mike.
Yeah, well, he actually said for a human to understand the structure of the next level is like a dog trying to understand human structures. So that's a nice out for him to say, if we don't understand what you're about. We can't be explained to you. You're too simple-minded. You haven't got the awareness of the next level. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah,
it is, but it's all just right. You said it's easy for him to say, "Oh, yeah, you know, it's beyond your comprehension." Yeah. You have to take my word for it because I'm the only one on this earth who's come from that dimension.
I'm Jesus point 2.0,
yeah,
2.0, and
I'm Space Jesus.
Space
bitch.
Jesus.
Fucking hell!
You definitely couldn't beat Space Jesus.
On Space Jesus, I don't even blink.
That's it. We're mere mortals.
He does not blink.
Can I point out? Hang on, we'll get on to the blinking. But so is lady partner, because this is very pivotal.
At this point, yeah.
But this is where their ideology gets all weird and shifty. Because he did say that her body wouldn't decay, didn't he, or something, because she was this supreme being.
I didn't get that bit.
Yeah, but then when the cancer kicked in, she had to have an eye removed, apparently, and stuff.
It was
so
brain cancer,
obviously she did get incredibly ill and begin to deteriorate. And so then he kind of shifted his ideology around a bit and said, "Oh well, this is because you know the timing's not quite right." You know, so yeah, her dying is a big thing.
You know, she left
I
her
have
two
a theory
kids with their former partner to go on the road with him and do all this.
Well, those kids don't know how lucky they actually are. Some blessings are in disguise.
Certainly too, right? Yeah, absolutely.
They got a lucky escape, I think. Because I think I'm going to point out when we sum up at the end, I think the loss of that soulmate lady is absolutely pivotal to his state of mind and his wanting to go to the next world. Because we don't know, he may actually have believed in a sort of Christian next world because he was raised. Maybe this UFO thing was just his story and his coping mechanism and his way of being adulated. And who doesn't want to start a cult? I mean, come on.
I'd love to be cult leader.
So, but I do think there's some deep psychological, basically longing and missing of her.
And the hating of himself for being a homosexual, I think, is a massive point in this.
I don't know if I said this before we started recording. No, I should have wrote his name down, but he wrote apparently the most famous book on this incident. And I listened to an interview with him, and he said he believes that he wasn't fully gay, he was bisexual, and so it wasn't just the frustration of being gay, because he had failed relationships with men, because he was in a very abusive relationship, I think, with a man at one point. His theory was that it was the fact that he had failed relationships with men and failed relationships with women, that he was just like, fuck, like, what is...
So maybe Dorothy Nettles was like the one woman he did actually...
And because it wasn't sexual, though, it became a deeper, like...
A deeper soul bond.
Yes.
That contradicts what he says, though, because he says that to get to the next level, you have to...
Let go, but then listen.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, he hasn't. Wait, sorry to interrupt, guys, because I watched, and to anyone listening, you can... it's all on YouTube. His exit video... the day before suicide, he literally, so I'll bring my theory up now then. He sits with an empty chair next to him.
Yes.
And he explains the significance, and here's the contradiction straight away. He explains the significance of the chair is never to forget T, as her name became, her alien name. And he gets choked up and emotional and has to sort of, slow himself down while talking about it. And I truly think he's never got over that loss.
No.
And he's a man who was happy to commit suicide.
Well, he says that they don't see it as suicide, they see it as returning to life.
Yeah, but that's what he says out loud, but I think he may have truly believed, I think in a Christian way, I'll join her in the next world.
Yeah.
I don't know if he really believed in spaceships and things, but I think he truly missed that woman, and he was I think a damaged guy, man. He castrated himself voluntarily.
I was going to drop that bomb later on.
Yeah,
but let's
sorry
get
guys.
to it actually, I'm going to apologise.
That's my
because
theory.
She was called Bonnie Nettles, not Dorothy Nettles. I said that wrong earlier. And she died in 1985. He kept the group together by sort of a force of personality, of a cult of personality, if nothing else.
He is very mesmerising when you watch his videos. He's a weirdo, but he's a hypnotist. He's definitely
gold.
Did that on the video, his final exit, there's like a imperfect picture on the screen, isn't there?
It's so weird, isn't it? Like the three
of him. I thought that was meant
very hypnotic.
I thought that was meant to represent the Son, the Father, and the Holy Ghost.
But
he says later it was just an error in the recording. I was like, okay, I'm thinking way too deep into this.
You were getting sucked into this. I'm going to find you in a pair of nice sneakers later on.
I agree with Mike. That first induction video where he does start to talk about it's time for the earth to be recycled and things, I'm like, it kind of sounds like now, this is 20 years old, and it's just then all this, because this is my other theory on this cult, they really got things wrong, because they literally went to the extremes of, this is why a lot of people left and came back, of no sex, no alcohol, no coffee, no cravings, no addictions, no needs, no need of anything, just complete dedication to the group,
getting above
and gaining the next level, so you're good enough to reach the next level. And even some of them going to the point of, because not having sex ever is apparently quite hard.
Yes, let's just skip to you mentioned eunuchs. 8 of the male members of the group, including Applewhite, voluntarily underwent castration in Mexico, a castration procedure. So they had their nuts removed.
Lost their male members.
They certainly lost their testicles, yeah. And you're doing that voluntarily. For a dude, you've got to be... I mean, Applewhite, I don't think at that point, I think he was like, I only ever loved one person, and I will never do it again anyway.
Yeah, but you're thinking from one perspective. You're not thinking from their perspective.
No,
their
I know.
perspective,
I lock my
hang on.
balls.
Their perspective is they're happy they're doing this, and they're happy they're dying and cutting off their genitals, and they feel sorry for you. They're
I
feeling
feel sorry for them.
But this is one of my points. Is I believe this cult is a bit silly. Well, but so this idea of so you're going to kill yourself anyway to join the fucking spaceship, right?
Yeah.
Surely, instead of denying yourself everything, if you're going to leave this vehicle behind and just dump it, if you hired a car and you knew you didn't have to pay for it, you knew you were just going to dump somehow.
Yeah, that's a good point actually.
Do you know what I mean? You would just thrash the bollocks off it. So why not, instead of denying yourself everything, fuck everything, drink everything, snort everything, be crazy, be violent, be wild.
It's a distraction from your spiritual path.
But you're going to just blow your head off anyway and hopefully join the spaceship.
Yeah, but you won't be mentally
you
ready,
won't be
would
pure enough. You won't be that evolutionary
You're
level
attached.
above.
You won't want to go because you've got the sex and the booze and the drugs.
Yeah.
You've never met an alien. They might be like, this guy think. They might be like, this
I'm
guy
a big
looks like...
reggae alien.
Hey, they might
Can
say...
we stop talking about reggae?
This one looks like fun. All the rest of them cut their bollocks off and walk around in silly fake Star Wars uniforms, calling the
Star
kitchen
Trek.
a funny name, Star Trek, sorry. And this one was out with goats and coke and Satan. He looks like we'll have him.
He was having threesomes with a goat in the room.
That's if they've got, like I said, human spirit reception devices.
That's the Crowley path, isn't it?
It still sounds fun to me.
I'm just saying that's the Crowley path to spirituality.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're right there. Yeah. That's the
So Mr. Crowley did actually influence us from our last
But I just think these guys would have been better off doing that instead of torturing themselves.
Yeah, but it misses the whole point. It misses the whole point.
Yeah, I guess, but
I know what you're saying.
But it's a waste of time if you're just gonna.
I'm not going to go to
kill
the desert,
yourself.
cut my cock off, and do nothing, and then hope to be beamed up by a UFO. I'm not going to do that. I'm just saying I can't put myself in their perspective.
I'm not going to the desert cutting back. Are you calling Mexico a desert, Mike?
I'm really glad you're not going to cut your cock off, Mike, for your sake.
I kind of want you to do it now.
As long as we can record it.
I'll do a podcast episode about it. And this week, Mike goes to the desert to cut his cock off.
Welcome to the 2018 Podcasting Awards.
I'll be the first eunuch to win. I'll go down in history.
Yes!
Where's my compass and me?
You're going to need to leave the UK for that one, Mike.
There's no deserts in the UK.
No.
Shame.
Yeah, on that. Yeah.
Well, bombshell, we'll pause it.
Where do we go? Yeah, that's a good point to pause it. Yeah.
Oh, dear.
So where is, if let's say Mike did want to cut his cock off, where is the nearest desert to England?
I think I've been to
Sahara?
Tenerife. Teneriffe's got camels and shit. There's sand dunes out
Is
there.
it an actual desert? A bit deserty.
Bit deserty. Is that good enough for you? I mean, the Canary Islands off the coast of North Africa.
I don't give a shit, man.
Where did they film
I'll be
Star
going to the
Wars?
next level.
Tunisia.
That's less fun than Tenerife,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Tenerife's got a bit more nightlife.
Yeah.
So if we go for a 2-week holiday, go on the last for like a week and a half. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. You
Go to some clubs.
We take an excursion
Ooh.
on a camel ride out in the desert. I'm sure Thomas Cook will sell us that. Right? And then you cut your dick off.
And I ascend to the next level.
You ascend to the next level.
Well, your cock will extend, but you'll still be alive. There might be a paramedic nearby and you live through it.
Oh, wouldn't it be awful if one of the dudes of the
Poor old
excursion was a doctor?
What a
I can
terrible,
save his penis. No, don't. He's trying to ascend to the next level. No.
what a terrible torture. Your dick is in the next world living it up with the aliens and you're stuck down here,
Oh, man.
cockless.
Sexy green alien women.
That doesn't sound so good.
It's great for your cock. Well, the spirit of your cock.
The spirit of your cock.
Your next level cock.
As long as the spirit of my cock will live on.
That's all any man can hope for, Mike. That we die in our sleep and the spirit of our cock will live on. Can you please write that on my headstone? The spirit of his cock lives on.
Yeah. That's 1,000 likes on Facebook for that to happen. 1,000 Facebook likes cut into the ball in the post-apocalypse.
I'm sure we could find some weird German guy online who'd actually pay us good money
Oh,
to
shit,
like come and cut his dick off for him.
He may want to read it after. He may want to cook it and eat it after.
Yeah.
But you won't see it.
But you want us to get a lot of
It's
listeners.
not going to
don't you,
ascend
mate?
then, though, is it?
Yeah, but he'll be back in Germany, eating your dick from a pan-fried penis.
Can we get back to the UFO people, please?
Yeah.
UFO. So the ways to enter the next level, the T.E.L.A.H. I found myself pronouncing it as that anyway.
T.E.L.A.H.
The evolutionary level above humans. So number 1, spacecraft. Yeah, the aliens turn up, pick you up, fuck you off. Simple as. Bish,
Right.
bosh, boom, job done.
Would they take our whole bodies though?
Yeah, they would just take and they would
Our
probably
vehicles, though.
They would remove the vehicles en route.
Oh, they kill us.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, yeah, but you're being freed.
Well, the vehicles are left behind.
No, the vehicle. Yeah, but you
Dead bodies.
So that's where the spacecraft comes in, isn't it?
Mm.
Did they find the bodies?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were the bodies.
But the aliens could take you off.
They don't, though, do they?
Well, they don't. No, because this is bollocks. That's why.
Sometimes at work.
I'm just telling you what I found on the internet, Mike. Don't quote me verbatim on this.
Well, at
What
work.
kind of sites do you think I'm getting from everything? I'm only getting the Financial fucking Times, am I? It's not reputable.
But listen, sometimes at work, like we have the same model vans, but they're not the same. If you know what I mean, they're like different ages, different size engines, different. Everything's different, but the same. Looks the same.
Like Trigger's Broom.
So I could be driving
Not
one.
Trigger's Broom, yeah. Trigger's Broom, yeah.
But I'll be driving one all day, and then swap over and get into a different one, ready for the next day. And everything feels different, and everything's different. The clutch, the gears, everything.
Yeah.
And it's very disorientating for a few seconds and weird because it all looks the same. It's the same model, colour van,
Yeah.
but it's a different van. So when your spirit just suddenly wakes up in another one, I'm just saying you might fall down a bit for a while first. You might be a bit like, I can't control my legs.
Well,
Yeah.
one day in heaven, according to him, which is where they go, isn't it? Heaven.
Oh,
their
well,
version
did he
of
go on a
heaven.
fucking field trip last week? We popped to heaven for the day, me and T. Oh, yeah, it was a bit overcast, but yeah, it was lovely.
Because one day in heaven is 1,000 years in our lifetime, so you come back, everyone will be long gone.
What? One day of heaven is 1,000 years of my life.
Sounds
Heaven
like-
sounds shit.
Yeah.
Because let me tell you, I've had 34 years of it so far, Mike, and yeah, there's been some good bits, but it hasn't. I wouldn't describe it as
No.
heavenly. It's been heavenly moments.
You won't notice if you're in heaven. If you're in heaven, a day is a day. But you come back to Earth, 1,000 years have
So
gone.
if a day's a day in heaven, how long am I sleeping for like that 1,000 years? I'm assuming about
About
sort of...
500 years.
Yeah, wow.
No. You're
Change
in
my name
there.
to Rip Van Car.
You go to heaven for one day. One day passes in your mind.
Okay.
You come back down, Earth, 1,000 years have passed.
Well, that's a shitter, because we've nothing left.
Well, might not be.
Go,
Might be
go.
not-
I'm not convinced there's going to be anything left by the next fortnight. Or mind 1,000
Yeah,
years.
things are not looking
Well-
good. Well, Mr. Mead, back to that.
Oh,
He
shit, yeah.
said it's just going to be October now. It's just moved forward a bit.
Oh, and he also
And the
he's
world's
not available
gonna
for
change.
interviews till next week. Genuinely read that article before we started the podcast, yeah. Yeah.
What?
And he also said that it's a
You know, Mead or Applewhite?
it's a symbol. It's not that the world's
Oh,
going to end
Mead, yeah.
yesterday as we're recording.
But he was saying the world was going to end. He
Yeah,
said the
but now-
boom's coming, boys.
Now he said it's a symbol. It's a symbol of what's
Oh,
to
that
come.
sounds like a cop out to me. And this is what happens when you have a profession and you add the word Christian to the front of it. He was a numerologist. I respected him slightly more. He was a Christian numerologist. I think he's a dick.
What the fuck Okay, don't judge me at home. What the fuck is a numerologist?
He studies numbers, looks at
They
patterns
look
in
for
numbers,
patterns
shit
in
like
numbers,
that. Yeah.
but it's not like a maths person, does it? Though, is it? It's a bit more
No, he's pretty
wishy-washy,
average.
looking for
I don't
meaning.
know, wouldn't you say someone looking for Fibonacci numbers would be a
Yeah, but you've got to use a computer program to do that now. Can you? Do you know that Bible code shit?
There are
they
some
found a few
people that
years
know
ago?
like the pi to like a million.
Oh, yeah,
decimal points.
absolutely. Especially
Well,
if
a
you put a
million.
couple of crystals, a couple of alien crystals up your ass, like in Rick and Morty, you'll remember pi to the 375th digit or something like that.
Rain Man.
But
He
don't
hasn't got any
skull fuck the
crystals
crystal
up his
skull.
bum.
Huh?
Don't skull fuck the crystal skull.
Never skull fuck a crystal skull, that's not advice.
Don't ever watch Kingdom of the Crystal
Oh,
Skull either.
don't. I think we've mentioned this before.
Yeah, we have. Fuck
Yeah.
that film.
Yeah, fuck it. Fuck it in the ass.
I'm
I've
Fuck
only
on
seen
the
it
ass.
once and I have not intended to
I've
go
never
back
made
for
it
a
through
bit.
it. Never made it through it.
It's not great.
Yeah, fuck the crystal skull in the ass without giving it a reach around, which is basic courtesy. I wouldn't even give the crystal skull a reach around. There you go.
You wouldn't plug its nose cavities.
Nope. Just a straight up ass
So
fucking.
where are we in the story then of these heavens
we're going
gate
for the
bastards?
techniques trying to the next level.
Sorry, they're not bastards.
So you've got natural death, accidental death, or death from random violence. That's okay.
They tried to incite that, you know. They went and talked at places where they thought people would get angry and shoot them, but it never happened.
And that's where the outside persecution that leads to death comes from. So they very much, because they're a cult. Remember, this is not a cult, a cult. Remember, this is the late 80s, early 90s. You got the Branch Davidians. You got Waco, and you got Ruby Ridge. They're all very prevalent in the minds of American society. And they are symbols to some Americans of the government really cracking down on their freedom of speech and their right to bear arms and everything. So, although, to be fair, for a cult, these guys were very mellow. I mean, I never found anything on the net about them having stockpiles of weapons or planning revolutions.
They were very
very non-violent. I'll give them that.
They abort the old mind when they import into the new mind for the next level.
Yeah. Yes. So the last one is a willful exit from the body in a dignified manner. Now that kind of covers, even though they're against suicide, that kind of does cover what they were going for
They're
at the
against
end.
suicide because they think suicide is staying on Earth.
It is,
forcing someone to stay in this hell.
But when the old UFO's there following the comet, all of a sudden, well, hang on, suicide might be okay now.
Wait though, look, I don't know much about the Bible, but I saw a film starring Robin Williams called What Dreams May Come.
Oh, that's a good film.
I thought it was a comedy.
It wasn't Robin Williams, was it?
Yeah, I thought it was a comedy, and I went to the cinema.
What Dreams May Come, that Kevin Costner baseball film?
No, that's Field of Dreams.
Oh shit, yeah.
Well,
sorry.
I went to the cinema.
He goes to hell, doesn't he?
Well, I was expecting a comedy. I went to the cinema, and it wasn't a comedy. But this is why I bring it up, because I learned from that film: if you commit suicide, you go to purgatory, not hell or heaven. You go to the middle, and you're stuck there in purgatory.
Lost.
So
lost soul.
So doesn't this go against? That's not Christian, is it?
That's not Christian. That's the ET aspect coming into it. You're taking out the bits of Christianity you don't like, and you're putting aliens into it.
So then they may have fucked up then, and instead of getting accepted by the spaceship's receptor bowl, they went into the fucking propellers or the jet stream or something and got absolutely mangled and thrown. That would be ironic, wouldn't it? I don't know if that's the right use of the word.
And your soul was just sucked out into space to drift forever. In a Lost in Space style scenario.
Now you're dead. Your soul can be killed as well. Your spirit can die as well. I imagine, maybe. And they wore special uniforms and everything.
They did, yeah.
It was very a bit.
They copied Star Trek, didn't they?
Yeah, they were very geeky, and he didn't even know what Star Trek was. That's the best.
Really?
Well, do you see? I watched the video.
They must have known because
they knew, but I watched the video where it's creepy as shit. It's horrible. Look this one up if you're at home, guys, after the podcast. He's filming so they're all in a hall assembled, and it's I think the day before or a few days before the suicide, and he's filming each individual member face, close up on each one's face, one by one, and they're each stood there for an unnatural amount of time, beaming, like fake smiles, unnatural. Some look better than others, but most are like, ooh, uncomfortable, while he says, and this is Obi-Wan, or something, honestly.
They all added dough to their names they'd chosen.
Odie,
actually, that means young one or something.
Yeah, sorry, Odie, yeah.
Yeah, because
so
they believe that you're like a young adult, and you have to ascend to the next level. But when you get to the next level, you'll be like a young adult again.
Wait a minute, I've just figured something out. Odie, they put at the end to mean young, like the learner in this situation.
Yeah.
Garfield and Odie.
Oh,
shit. I read that a lot as a kid, so Garfield Odie, if you say it together, was that hypnotic, was that put there, but did
Marshall Applewhite have an influence on the creator of Garfield?
Yeah. Well, we know that one of the members of this, this is what's funny, that's what brings me up that video, sorry, he gets to, dun dun dun, one of the members is Lieutenant Uhura's from the original Star Trek.
His name is Thomas Nichols.
Her actual brother, there you go.
And Ursula Nichols was Uhura on Star Trek.
There you go. Well, Applewhite puts the camera on him and says, brings up his sister and that, and gets the fucking name wrong and calls it Star Wars.
Oh.
And then it has to be corrected. And you can see the pain on their little Star Trek loving faces. Because what the fuck does that guy know about Star Trek or anything, really? It's them lot that, and they called their house, the mansion that they eventually, rented a very palatial mansion.
Well, it's
'cause they
worth,
made money.
it's worth pointing out that the internet was in its infancy, but in the prairie days, the internet again, ladies and gents, where dial-up was the king, broadband wasn't even thought of, wireless was seen as futuristic, and Star Trek
Apart
in
from
itself.
Tesla, he already
Tesla.
predicted it.
And so we're talking about the internet is very, and they had clever people with them. They made a lot of money, $700,000 a year. We're talking 1990s bucks here, so that's probably double that.
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking, let's say 1.5 million a year, designing websites for companies, for various people who are paying them a lot of money to do it. They rented a mansion in San Diego, a whale's vagina in Spanish, I believe. There's an Anchorman joke.
They referred to their mansion as a ship, as a spaceship.
Wow.
They had special names, and I should have fucking wrote them down. Sorry, listeners. I'm not a pro, but they had special names for the kitchen and the bathroom, things like that. You know, spacey kind of names. They treated it like a ship. They acted like it was practice. You know, for when they
wore uniforms.
They wore their little Star Trekky uniforms, and they were all happy. I watched the videos, man. So they
were certainly happy for.
They looked like lost kind of people who were, needed a cult, but also they were, they were happy. Like they couldn't wait.
For the behind the smiles, the eyes were
Some
dead.
of them.
I don't know. A lot of them I thought were genuine.
Some.
I tell you what, it almost broke me was what.
It almost broke you.
Emotionally.
Oh.
Was when they were.
That's kind of breaking.
She was calling her parents. The one member
and they were
was
asking her to come home.
Come home. Where
and
are
her
you?
Sister
Safe.
got on the phone.
And they don't know what we know as listeners.
Yeah,
we know she's going to kill herself, and she doesn't. She doesn't tell them.
So what did she say to him?
She just says, "Oh, I'm fine. I'm fine."
And she basically, it's really tragic. 'Cause it's like the dad, like, "Can you come home? Come on." And he takes like an old guy. "We miss you. Come on, come home." And then she's like, "No, can't." And then like the sister gets on the phone, who's a bit more forceful, like, "Well, what are you doing? Where are you? Why can't?" And it's all just, no, can't. I'm fine. Can't you come for Christmas? No. I miss you. I love you. Okay. Bye. And yeah, like you said, Mike, I didn't think of that actually at the time when I heard it. Yeah, you're right. If you listen to that now, knowing what's going to happen to it, jeez. And brainwashing.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I listened to something very interesting by Sam Harris, who talked about this, and he talked about how Mr. Applewhite didn't really say anything particularly deep, intelligent, new, intriguing, and he wasn't much of a brainwasher, really.
No.
He just made a lot of lost people,
Mhm.
put them together and made it a family, and
Gave
gave them purpose.
removed.
Gave them purpose in life.
He wants
Harris,
their balls removed.
this
I'm
guy
not
said-
a cult that wants my balls removed.
This guy said though that like basically this shows you the power of belief. Basically, they truly believed.
Yeah.
He was
that
the
they
second
killed
coming of
themselves
Space
in
Jesus.
this way.
Look at our society. People actually believed that Trump was going to do what he said.
Well,
We all
even more
knew
than
that he was full of
Well,
shit.
some of them seem as the fucking second Messiah.
Yeah.
Well,
For
even more
God's
extreme
sake.
than that, like, belief is what lets, like, this is what Sam Harris was pointing out. Belief is what gets a guy, by all intents and purposes, is sane, quote unquote, to walk into a market full of innocent people and detonate a freaking bomb because he truly believes in the result of what will happen. And like,
there's actually some statements I thought he was true on. Like, he said, "What each individual's truth is their truth."
yeah, but that could be in a fortune cookie.
That's
like,
almost Satanism.
What?
Like,
Your own truth.
Your
is
own
your truth.
personal truth is your truth, isn't it?
Yeah,
no one else
that's
interferes with your
Levian
faith.
Satanism, effectively.
So should we?
so hang
Should
on, I
we-
do have a giant penis.
So I'm
Yes.
going to play the devil's
If you
advocate.
think you have, the devil's advocate. Very
I'm
nice.
going to play the devil's advocate here and say, who are we to tell them what to do? If they want to go in the desert, cut their cock off, join a UFO cult and kill themselves, then they've got the right to. It's their life.
I don't disagree with that,
No,
but you'd
yeah.
argue that they're being manipulated because they're vulnerable people.
You would argue that, yeah.
I'd say they're just a bit.
And some people will do
what-
anything for attention, even if it involves killing themselves.
What if he was right? What if
Well,
he
we
was
can't.
right?
And if I tell you what, if that UFO shows up and he
doesn't Halle
pops
Bopp
down and
come
says,
back?
"Oh, by the way, hey, you remember me? I'm Marshall Applewhite, also Space Jesus."
Well, maybe Jesus said exactly the same thing when he
I'll
came
knock him
down.
out.
We have
And
to
the
fix
word-
Gaz will
I
knock you
will
out for a
knock
second.
him
Gaz will
out.
just if he touches down in Telford,
Me and Space
Right.
Jesus. Woo-wee.
right?
That's a battle.
That's a battle I want to see.
you know, as long as it's on Earth, if it's in space, I'm fucked. I don't have a space suit.
Oh, it'll be on Earth.
Yeah, if it's down here on the ground, remember, stabby. So
you're gonna have cockless Mike. I'm gonna be stood there. You're gonna be fighting Jesus. I'm gonna have to probably throw you a shank at some point. I mean, it's all. Yeah.
We'll win.
Anyway, not enough into.
But hang on though, doesn't Halle Bopp come back around every
2,000 years?
Oh fuck! So we won't be around to see if he is on the spaceship.
Yeah, ironically, wasn't 2,000 years?
I hope. Do you know what I hope?
Christ
No, listen. I hope he splattered on the windscreen of the spaceship like a fucking bug. I hope he really cocked it up and he got his trajectory wrong, because I like the quote that one of the parents said. It was 1 suicide and 38 murders.
Yeah, I read that quote. Yeah.
You know, I hope that maybe they got into the spaceship. They hit the right part of the sucker up a bit, which we hope exists.
The giant vacuum.
Yeah, which is
designed by Dyson, no doubt.
And he just went on the windscreen, and then one of the aliens went whip whip and put the space wipers on, and that's the end of fucking Applewhite. And if he'd have just accepted. Right? If he'd have just accepted that dick is yummy to him, and that's okay, then none of this would have happened. And if he was just born a few years later, I mean, homosexuality is way more acceptable now than it was 20 years ago.
Absolutely,
even 20 years ago, way more. If he'd have just stuck around, I bet it's even better here on the space than it is on the spaceship. For what if up on the spaceship they really hate gay people too? And he's missing out down here. He fucked up.
He doesn't care though.
Either way,
he
fucked
shunned
up.
all the human.
His balls off.
Yeah, all the human urges are abhorrent to him. He didn't want to immerse himself in any human feelings.
I reckon one weekend with us, we could have changed his mind a bit. Do you know what I mean? We could have taught him that some human activities are actually quite satisfactory.
I did find one thing he said was quite amusing, because he said, I think he was talking to Christians, like he said, "How do you know your God is a right God?" Well, I can fling that right back at you, mate, and you're making one hell of a,
His God's a spaceship.
You're making one hell of a leap. You're actually going to kill yourself because you believe it to be true. But you actually say, he actually says, "How do you know your God is the right God?" Well, how do you know?
Well, yeah. How does any of them know? There's like 2,500 gods, and as he's believing in 2,499 of them.
But he knows, though, doesn't he?
He's virtually an atheist, if you think about it.
He knows because he's a walk-in, isn't he, from another dimension? He's, he's seen the other world and all that, so he knows which gods made it up there.
So he says, yeah.
And he's fucking.
One thing I couldn't find is. Were they the aliens? Were they Greys? Were they Nordics? Were they, what are we going for here?
Was it, I think, Red Dwarf reference coming up, but remember when Rimmer goes on the hollow ship?
Yeah.
Is it a ship made of light?
Yes,
But,
and they're all
if you've got a physical body, you can't join it, so it's like a celestial thing. I think I'm using that word correctly.
Yes, yeah, that makes sense.
And you go and join your. So that's why you got to, all them rules to reach the next level. Get shot. Stabbed. Should we go right on the way home? So I just go and start on some chavs outside the local chip shop and just get stabbed, and I'll report back if I can somehow.
Maybe from the hospital bed, yeah.
Well, no, if I actually get killed, I'll try and report back from the ship.
It's probably pushing it a little far, and we'd have to replace you as a host.
Well,
I don't know whether we're going to find someone, another drug-addled lunatic who can speak so coherently in a podcast.
It's such short notice.
It's such short notice. I'd rather.
I'm sure if you auditioned.
But yeah, but there's no that guy with no legs at the town centre who fishes dog ends out the floor. So, and I'm not lifting you up 3 flights of stairs to get to Mike's flat.
What we're going to put in the ad? You might be forced to cut your cock off in the desert.
Yeah. Oh, you're trying to get over it now, are you? Trying to get over it now, are you?
If it goes well. Yeah, you stop trying to stooge off my replacement. And I haven't been replaced yet.
Hey man, shit rolls downhill.
Well, fucking, it's a shame Applewhite's shit didn't roll downhill. I tell you one thing I didn't see. I could try and find it now on the phone, but did you see anywhere, Ben? How did they actually? I saw the video of them all in beds covered over. But how did they actually do the deed of the suicide? Well, I owe everyone. I'm such a dick, sorry.
Oh, that's a beer fine.
He's sitting there with his phone on, 2 joints in his hand, 4 darts in the joints.
That's a beer fine. I'm owed like 3 beers at this point. It should be worth pointing out. You owe me 1 and Gaz owes me 2.
Oh, I suck at this. Right, I'll turn it down.
Right, well, let me just
So how
flash
did they
back
do
a
the
little
deed?
bit in time.
Oh, go on then.
Because in October 1996, a year before, well, less than 6 months before they committed suicide, and they do commit suicide, by the way. Listeners.
Spoilers.
Spoiler alert. He convinced them to commit suicide to evacuate to the UFO following the Halle Bopp comet. In 1996, the group took out alien abduction insurance. Right? It was a policy for $1 million each, and it covered, and I love this, it covered abduction, impregnation, or death by alien.
Jesus Christ. You could insure yourself for
So
anything
maybe the
back
wrong
then.
type of alien should have turned up, abducted them, and they wouldn't have, you had the old bit of an anal probe, bit of semen extraction. Well, not much.
Well, it depends if you got
large
ones
or
with balls or not.
Not much go with semen in, but they could impregnate him maybe. I know they're aliens. He's got no testicles. Who knows? But I found that quite strange, considering this is part of his game plan. That one day they're all gonna, as soon as that UFO turns up.
Well, was that money to ensure the ongoing
That's the
existence
thing, yeah.
of the church once they've left their vehicles?
But can
behind?
you prove that they've been killed by aliens? Is an insurance company going to write off on 39 million dollars?
No, they don't write off hurricanes.
Look.
They weasel out of that.
Yeah, so they're going to
I
go,
know,
all right, okay, they killed themselves
Act
and
of
were
God.
taken by aliens. Here's $39 million.
Act of God!
Oh,
I know how-
He can't do it, it's an act of God.
Oh, holy
He doesn't
shit!
get anything
There you
for
go.
it.
It's a fucking catch-22 scenario.
I know how spaceships work and spirits and reception discs and window wipers in space. I know how all that works, but I don't really know how insurance works, to be perfectly honest. So I don't really know.
It's an act of God, so he's forfeiting it. By
No, it's an act of aliens.
No, but he says it's their God.
I know.
Yeah, but it's still an alien.
Yeah,
It's
but
his God.
It's alien abduction.
It's
Oh,
his
you're
God,
right.
but to you, it's just Alf from that sitcom.
Oh shit! Yeah.
You don't-
That's
you
a
don't-
really
it could
dark
be.
ending to that sitcom. Did you know
I
about
never
that?
saw it.
Oh, you never watched Alf?
No, I saw it, but I never
Oh.
saw the ending.
Oh god, yeah. Basically, the government turned up in suits and took him away.
Oh jeez, that would have ruined me.
It did. It was like I only read about it.
Only
I
watched
never
the-
recall seeing the end of it.
I think I only watched the
But basically, he got taken away and dissected.
Oh, poor Al.
Yeah, man.
What did it stand for? Alternative life form?
Alien life form.
Alien life form.
I liked Alf. He was all right.
Yeah, good dude, man.
So let's go to the 22nd of March and the 23rd of March, which is because they killed themselves in the evening, and that's when they put the time of deaths out over 2 days.
1997.
1997. I said that.
Did
Well,
you?
I didn't say that. I just said the days, and you added the year. But you're paying attention. The
Someone's
bodies were
got
found.
it.
The body. So on the 26th of March, then they took the. They took. I've got to get the name right here
I'm so
because it's a
tired.
drug name. It's phenobarbital.
Oh.
It's a medication for
Gaz has
treating.
probably popped that at some point.
Well, it's a medication for treating certain types of epilepsy. The side effects: a decreased level of consciousness and decreased effort to breathe. Yeah? So they tied plastic bags around their heads.
Fuck.
Right, so that would obviously decrease efforts to breathe. Decrease
Just a
level of
bit.
consciousness. They mix that with applesauce
Sorry.
and vodka.
Oh.
So you're getting drunk, you're taking the drug, the applesauce. I hope the apple fingers and put on his name, apple
Do you
white
know what?
applesauce.
That's actually the best way to go.
Is
Because,
that yeah?
because you start breathing your carbon dioxide, don't you?
Yeah.
And you get high, don't you?
You get high up breathing pure oxygen as well. Actually, yeah, but I mean, if you were doing it while you're having a wank,
No, I can't
That's
say
kind
I've done that, but
you put a plastic bag around your head, took phenobarbital, mixed it with applesauce and vodka, and had a wank, it'd be fucking epic.
I'll tell you next week.
it would take you ages to get there, though.
It would, but think of it, it's
You'd be
autoerotic.
so
It's
nuts.
basically autoerotic asphyxiation.
Mm.
What
if
a
you
way
did
to
that,
go out.
yeah. And they also, the bodies were found lying neatly in their bunks, in identical black tracksuits, brand new black and white Nike trainers, or sneakers for our American listeners, and armbands reading Heaven's Gate Away Team, which was a Star Trek reference.
Fucking nerds,
Right?
man.
They also had a purple shroud covering each of the faces of the.
I'm surprised there wasn't
the
a lot of
members.
vomit everywhere. Like, Do you know what I mean? Like, 'cause I've heard that like poisoning yourself isn't like you'd think it would be. There's like a lot of vomiting and convulsing and not.
No, but it's getting round that by
by the combination.
Because it's that drug.
That
basically, so you drink the vodka with the phenobarbital. Booze makes you breathe deeper and slower. Yeah. You have a decreased level of consciousness, which the drug's giving you as well. So basically, drink enough of it, you're gonna pass out and just die on your own CO2 because the bag's over your head. Right. So if you didn't have the bag over your head, that probably wouldn't be fatal, would it? It would be you'd just be in a really deep coma, kind of drunken coma kind of thing.
Maybe get some.
You might die from if you not without the bag.
Oh, without the bag, yeah.
Without the bag.
You might have some brain damage.
You probably have
being
some,
out for so long.
But the bag is probably what killed them.
Somebody really looked into it, like a full proof. Because I did think it's creepy how there's footage. Because a couple were left behind, a couple didn't kill themselves.
Yes, that's right. They maintain the website nowadays.
Yeah, there's footage that I saw of them. The bodies covered, like you say, and they're all neatly just lying.
I'm pretty sure that when you breathe in your carbon dioxide, you get high, and you have feelings of elation.
People die in their sleep. It tragically happens quite a lot of people taking the barbecue inside the tent, and then the whole family dies. They leave it in there. It's happened loads of times. They leave it.
Carbon monoxide.
Oh, is that different?
That's carbon monoxide. That is. Yeah.
Oh. Also,
I guess.
I'm just so. I didn't know that anyway, but I'm also so stoned. I'm struggling to make words now.
Each member also had a $5 bill
Take it off your hands up.
and 3 quarters in their pockets. And the $5 bill,
you never know, there might be a vending machine on the spaceship, right?
Oh, look at a Pepsi Max.
Like your mum says, you never know, you might need a bit of tuck, a bit of dinner, packed lunch. It's a long fucking way, that spaceship. Sorry, why was this?
Apparently, they all used to carry this on missions.
Away missions.
On missions out into the great wide world. When they left the mansion where they're all doing their computer programming, whatever they were sent out for, they would also each carry a $5 bill for vagrancy fines. Right, and I don't know much about that, but I'm assuming that maybe in San Diego at the time there was some kind of, if you had to sleep rough for whatever reason, there was a vagrancy fine. But then the 3 quarters in their pockets, the 3 quarter, the coins, 25 cents, were for phone calls. And that was like the money. And I remember they were bringing in, as you said.
Presuming there's going to be a phone box on the spaceship.
No, this is for when they went out into. They had to go, obviously, some of them had to go out to get stuff, food, drink, shopping, what have you.
And with that, do you mind just pausing for 1 second, guys? Sorry, listener.
Like I said, listener.
Welcome back.
Hello.
Hello, listener.
Sorry about that. We drink.
We do. It's a terrible habit.
Can you tell?
And don't copy our life choices. So we've just clicked onto the Heaven's Gate website because, as we mentioned, it is still running. It's maintained by former members.
Still up and running.
Very 90s graphics. Love it. Very 90s website.
It hasn't been.
It's
clearly hasn't been updated since it was.
Oh no.
Well, in terms of the look and overall aesthetic of this website, it's like a little time warp. Really, it's a reminder of. I think the first time I went on the internet must have been at school in the last sort of year or two, maybe, but it wasn't it an intranet and stuff like that?
It would have been an intranet at school because it would have been an internal internet, so you couldn't. You would only be able to look at like approved sites.
But I do remember at this time, around that time, 97, I was into like comic books and basketball. Strangely, so
I don't remember you being a basketball player at school, only because you were quite tall, taller than the rest of us.
Yes, that's how I got roped into it. So basically, the things I read were basketball magazines and comic books, both of which came from America. And the adverts, I do remember seeing, had started having these www. Addresses on the bottom, and I remember thinking, well, what is that? I'm seeing that. That's clearly a thing, but they were online at this time, in 97. So people in the know, obviously, we were kids then. People older than us were obviously already online talking to each other.
I was getting my account banned at school for having naked chicks on bikes.
Were you just watching Queen's Fat Bottom Girls video over and over again?
Yeah. Mike, just popped into
they used
my
to
head.
pass around photographs, didn't you have that at school?
No.
On the internet, you used to have instant messaging, and
no, we never had that.
You used to pass like mucky photos and stuff. But of
Mucky
course,
photos? Oh, you can tell you went to a fucking grammar school. Oh, mucky photos. Oh, we had our internet and we passed around mucky photos. There's a naked woman with a straw hat riding a penny farthing.
you know what's old Novaportians?
You fucking old Novaportian.
You know the sort of things we get up to. Boarding school.
Oh, fondles in the bunks, was there?
I was a day boy.
Who's your fag?
Ben, hang on a second. Can we break this down a second? Hang on. Sorry, guys, but Ben, we went to school we're the same age, aren't we, all three of us?
Mike's a
I'm
year
35.
older. Yeah.
Older? So he's instant messaging at
Yeah,
school.
yeah. We didn't have that shit.
What the fuck?
I don't even recall using the internet at school apart from in a very highly regulated IT lesson with our teacher who had 2 different coloured eyes,
Instant messenger.
and we used to freak out about it. But that's not the point. I don't remember his name, but I can't say it anyway. But he had 2 different coloured eyes. And that I remember using the internet listen, you type in this address, google.com or Yahoo, I think was probably the biggest search engine at the time. That shows how long ago it was. And then it was like, search for this. This is how you use the internet. Don't search for porn.
No mucky photographs.
No mucky photographs. I remember getting told once to type in, to find the website for Shrewsbury College, and got told to type in scat. Listeners, Shrewsbury College, a fine educational institution, has an unfortunate acronym. It's the Shrewsbury College of Arts and Technology, also known as SCAT. So try a sort of 40-year-old IT teacher who probably doesn't quite understand the internet himself at this point. He's teaching off a sheet because the internet's very new, and being told to search for scat. Well, my God, that's an eye-opener.
The look on his face, because it happened to me as well at mine.
The look on his face, the scat on his
Look
face.
at his face!
When the
Look
scat
at his
hit his
face!
face. No.
Don't look at his face when you're scatting. That's the number 1 rule.
That's added insult to injury.
You always turn away on the glass table.
You always face cheek. Cheek to cheek.
Scatter and scatty. The scatter never faces the scatty. That's the rule.
Anyone remember Scatman John?
I do.
It's took on a new meaning.
It did. That's the thing.
Scatman.
Scatman John, right? It was about jazz, that whole bebop thing. Yeah, that's jazz.
Scat.
Yeah, scat.
That is what that is.
And then everyone searched Scatman and just ended up with horrifying videos. And it killed his career, but he got 2 number 1s out of it before everyone realised.
Is SCAT an acronym?
It is the Shrewsbury College of Arts and Technology.
I mean the actual shit.
I've no idea. No, it's something I've never looked into that high.
It's a technical term for feces.
Ah, there we go. College boy coming before.
It doesn't sound very fucking
Did you get a B in biology as well?
I call bullshit on that
actually.
factoid.
Oh, you twat.
And chemistry.
Oh, you twat.
I call bullshit on that factoid though. Scat is not a technical term.
I'm not googling scat to find out.
It is, honest.
I'm
it
frightened
is.
It's not a So you go to the doctor, you say, "Oh, doctor." You don't say, "Oh, I've got a problem with my feces. There was some blood in my feces." You say, "There was some blood in my scat, doctor."
And he would go beep bop bop because he's a jazz fan.
And then it's say, actually, it's probably cancer.
Oh my god!
Oh man!
Well, you got blood in your feces.
No, it could just be hemorrhoids.
Yeah, but don't diagnose my fantasy imaginary story version. Don't try to fucking make it better with a song. A shit song.
Don't put jazz into prostate cancer, Mike.
We need jazz in prostate cancer.
No, we don't. We don't need either of it. Either of them.
Moving on.
Yeah. I'll read this Heaven's
You
Gate.
mentioned blood in feces.
It could be hemorrhoids.
It was a fictional, figurative version of myself, and you diagnosed him with a deadly disease.
Gaz is multiverse, man. He's now dead of fucking.
We live, we die. These guys
You
were
live, you
happy.
die, you ascend to a new alien spaceship.
These guys were happy to go.
I'm unplugging your microphone.
Be more like-
Don't
be
unplug
more
that
like
microphone, you unplug me.
Oh, sorry.
Don't put us on the same microphone in future.
Well, it's the only power I've got in this world. I'm the sound man.
You want to cut me cock
That's
off
why
and then you
it sounds
take
so
your
shit.
microphone away from me? I'll be
You
a
haven't
mute
got your cock
unit.
off yet. You haven't got your cock off
You're
yet.
giving me cancer.
I'm a mute eunuch.
Moving on.
I'm going to read this Heaven's Gate intro.
Thank you.
It's a little bit long. I will try and get through it
Right,
as
thank
quickly
you.
as possible without making any kind of death reference.
Okay.
As this is a death cult, it might be quite difficult, but carry
We'll
on.
try. But they won't present themselves as a death cult. This is a happy cult, remember?
Happy to die. Oh, sorry.
That was very black metal. Happy to die.
Welcome to the Heaven's Gate. Leave before it's too late.
You're gonna go heavy on the guitar.
That's gotta be the first song for a satanic reggae band, Third Eye
That's not
Garlic.
very reggae, is it? It's black metal.
Heaven's Gate.
I'm not
Nobody
joining.
wants to go to Heaven's Gate.
I'm
Sorry.
not joining a reggae band. Right?
Satanic
That's it.
reggae
I don't care. I'm
Don't
not joining a
rant,
reggae band.
don't rant. Come on, let's get through
Okay.
this. Read us what it's from the websiting then.
Okay. Whether Halle Bopp has a companion or not is irrelevant from my perspective. However, its arrival is joyously very significant to us at Heaven's Gate. That joy, and joy is in italics, is that our older member in the evolutionary level above human, the kingdom of heaven, that would be Marshall Applewhite, the older member. Ironically, member, another name for penis.
I made that joke earlier.
Did you? Sorry.
Oh,
It's made it clear to us that Halle Bopp approach is the marker that we've been waiting for. The time for the arrival of the spacecraft from the level above human to take us home to their world, in the literal heavens. Our 22 years of classroom here on planet Earth is finally coming to a conclusion. Graduation from the human evolutionary level. We are happily prepared to leave this world and go with T's Crow. I'm pretty sure. Oh no, it's Crew. The graphics are that 90s. I can't make out E's from O's. It's Crew. And T, of course, was Marshall Applewhite.
Yes, and the crew was them lot.
And the crew was them guys.
Bloody
I thought
idiots.
Doe was Marshall Applewhite.
Yeah, T was his
T
missus.
was
Well, his
Dorothy
mate.
Betty.
The bird.
not Dorothy.
The lady, sorry.
Betty.
The strong,
Betty
independent
Nettles.
Betty
woman.
Nettles.
She was a strong,
The
independent woman.
super sleuth.
If you study the material on this website, you will hopefully understand our joy and what our purpose here on Earth has been. You may even find your boarding pass to leave with us during this brief
for
window.
fuck's sake.
We are so very thankful that we have been the recipients of this opportunity to prepare for membership in their kingdom and to experience their boundless caring and nurturing.
Okay, I'm gonna cry. It's tragic. I've decided.
It's they, well, certainly whoever wrote that. I don't know who wrote that. I mean, the thing is maintained by former members.
What a bunch of plonkers.
I mean,
Honestly, I know it's sad, Mike, but honestly, I mean, I know it was 20 years ago, so and we, I was a child then. I cared about the same things then as I do now, to be perfectly honest.
wrestling and basketball.
Well, not basketball, but wrestling, comic books, video games, getting high, having a good time. Podcasts. But,
Let's list everything you enjoy.
yeah, sorry. I got carried away there for a
Sex
minute.
magic.
I got lost. What was I about? Oh yeah, they're a bit silly. They're a bit daft, because, come on, that's some fucking silly. It's bad enough going to church and buying all that stuff, like the Heavenly Father and
Yeah.
but then believing this will join the fucking spaceship. Now I'll put the bag on my head, and I think these people, like I said, some of them.
It's
a lot
no
of them,
different from drink the Kool-Aid.
yeah,
is it?
well, no. A lot of them looked happy to do it, but some of them, like you said, I think you're right, Mike. Some of them were a bit dead behind the eyes. I think this was a final straw. They probably would have killed themselves anyway in some lonely, dodgy flat. But instead, they got to do it in a nice bed in a posh mansion
Yeah.
with a purple thing,
Purple,
all
drape over
quote
there.
unquote dignified. And maybe they are on the spaceship, maybe they're not. But They did it. I mean, fucking hell, they were committed, didn't they? They actually did it.
Well, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have. I'd have bought it at the last minute.
Oh yeah.
As soon as they mentioned cutting my cock off, I'm gone.
Well,
I did honestly. I would have
only-
tried to fucking blag it. I would have like pretended to drink the thing, pretend to put the bag, and just.
Yeah.
And even if the guy who didn't do it makes eye contact with me, I'll go, shut. Honestly, you shut up. I'll fucking brain you. You fucker. You
I'll
sit
kill
the
you
fuck-
myself, you
Honestly,
fucking...
you sit the fuck down. And then I just leg it, and the rest of them do
You have
it.
to look at the profile of these people.
Yeah, they were.
Well, I mean,
softies.
you got Marshall Applewhite, who, let's face it, had issues. Whether that was probably all stemming from his own sexuality.
Mm-hmm.
I know I keep saying it,
But we're
but
armchair
there's nothing worse than
psychologists.
someone who's a repressed homosexual. It gives you issues. You're repressing yourself, effectively. And whether he was bi or homosexual, the fact that he was quite willing to go off and have his balls surgically removed, that's a commitment I could never agree to.
Did he actually get his balls cut, or
It's-
was it
I
chemical
Well,
castration?
no, it was literally the surgical
the
procedure. They
old-fashioned
went to
way.
Mexico to have it
Oh
done.
god.
Weirdly, why is Mexico having just, hey, you want a castration? Hey, you want castration? You come to Dr. Sanchez.
You go to Mexico.
That might be slightly racist. But
You go to Mexico
you
for
see my
anything.
point?
Yeah.
Donkey shows.
I know, but
Ball
100
removal.
pesos!
pesos, I got you my slipper bobs. Is that French? Yeah, no, it went somewhere.
Is that in Italian?
Yeah, maybe Italian.
A drunk
Yeah,
attack.
maybe. But you know, it's like
No.
you gotta be. Yeah, so that's seven other people went to have that done with him. So were they people who were
power
kind of
of
just
belief.
repressed as him, or were they people who were that into it that they thought, yes, that's the way to go? And these are guys. Remember that men are our egos covered in skin, aren't we? Let's face it, we're females.
That's why they had to get the castration though, because they couldn't stop thinking
That's
about
it.
alcohol and
Yeah.
banging. Which is why I say they should have done it, man.
But you see, these people wanted to shun the material world anyway.
They
They
did,
were
but for God's sake,
already in that mindset.
I know, but there's nothing wrong with a cheeky wank. Isn't there?
I like to see him as he was like a harvester of lost souls.
Do you know one thing
Yeah,
I do?
like a
No, hang on.
collector.
Hang
Yeah,
on.
because these
Guys.
people were pretty desperate. They, you know, conventional looks. They were a bit weird, or they obviously felt like they didn't fit into society. This guy
No.
comes
The
along.
Hora's brother was quite handsome. He didn't look that weird. Well, he was. He didn't look weird. He looked like he could be in like acting as well.
Yeah,
Yeah?
You know, but he was instead chose this.
looks
But
a bit like Lawrence Fishburne.
Do you think it was like a
It
bit of a massive coup for them, to get, being the Star Trek fans that they
Probably,
were,
yeah.
to get Uhura's brother? Do you think that do you reckon she ever met him?
Oh, I don't know. But listen, one thing I do admire about him, Applewhite. Well, not admire. I don't admire it, but I suppose it's just like, at least he wasn't like, you know, a lot of these cult guys talk the talk, but then on the side they're like banging everything that moves and like
Jim
you know,
Jones and
you know,
what,
just-
Wake,
just-
was he Waco or the Branch
Yeah.
Jim Jones anyway, yeah, he was
you know,
one of them.
at least he did actually believe, you know, he practiced what he preached in terms of like cutting his nuts off and not, you know.
Yeah, to be
So-
fair, that's if he's
So
willing
maybe
to go
he
that
really
length,
believed it too, but I honestly, my theory, I suppose
then again,
we're
that
getting
could be
too
that
much-
could be a grief thing about the loss.
That's what I
of-
mean.
of-
That is generally,
of-
to
of
go
Miss-
back to it,
Miss Nettles,
yeah, that's my conclusion. My theory on him is he truly never got over the loss of Nettles, and it's all part of it, dealing with it. And imagine how much adulation he was getting being the leader of this thing, and how important
fuck
he
yes,
felt.
yeah.
It consumed his day, it gave him something to think about
Yeah.
constantly and do. But he never. Well, you see him right at that end with his exit video, the way he talks about her and gets choked up. It's all about her still to him, and he just convinced them guys. And I think maybe he did truly believe it himself, but
I think he certainly convinced himself into believing
Yeah,
it.
maybe.
I think
But
that-
he was a tired old man.
He was at the end. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, even with his weird skin colour.
Some people said that he had AIDS.
was he high? Just-
He
Yeah.
was dying of AIDS. But that is.
You know what he did?
He looked thin.
Was it
and-
space
He-
AIDS?
he- Maybe.
Fuck Space Jesus, did he?
Oh man! That was
Well,
Space
Space
that
Jesus
was
inhabited his body.
Yeah.
So
Maybe that's why he was castrated. Cause
maybe he had a dirty spirit, an infected spirit, because he didn't wear a
Dirty
spirit
spirit.
condom,
Mm.
and so he gave fucking old Applewhite space AIDS, and that's why he started saying weird
Oh,
shit.
man.
Space dong.
Space
No,
dog.
but if he was dying of a terminal illness, then.
Well, that would make sense. That would make it more preferable for him to.
But then, would
to
you
offer
say?
himself as
Would you
such.
say he was a coward and he wanted to take people with him?
Yeah, maybe. It was a bit like Space Thelma and Louise, basically. He wanted to join her, he was ready to go and join her, and he took all them people with him.
There's only one question. Did his actions come from love or fear?
Love on his part, fear on their part.
Or was he just a dirty, dirty pervert?
Well, no, because he had no balls.
Like, still a bit pervert, I'm sure.
And we'll end on that, shall we?
Hang on. I mean, we should point out that 2 former members also committed suicide later on in May '97. He was and Applewhite was the 3rd last to die.
And how does that work? Because if you killed yourself a few days later, isn't the spaceship moved on a bit?
Well, they all did on the same, over the same night, the 25th
What if we were on the wrong side of the Earth?
The 22nd and 23rd of March, and they didn't find the bodies till the 26th.
I would struggle having faith in the sort of logistics of my transportation to the spaceship. I honestly would really be questioning. I'd be like, "Come on, man, you've got to give me more than this."
Yeah, but they would say it's on a spiritual level, isn't it? It's you're looking at stuff beyond what we would perceive.
That's a leap of faith.
And you've got to look at these people who joins a cult. It's people who are lacking meaning in their lives. They might
Which
be lonely.
under the system is pretty much everybody.
Well, I don't know. I'm quite enjoying myself, apart from the impending threat of nuclear war. It's not a bad time.
I mean,
I'm
like
so lonely.
the job
For me,
you do.
all that shit's depressing, but I wouldn't join a cult. It slice me nuts off over it.
Well,
glad to hear it.
It's
I wouldn't
know,
join
it's
him.
just strange. I mean, if a cult's promising me I'm all for the free love, drugs, booze kind
You
of
want a
cult.
sex
I
cult.
want a sex cult.
You want a crowdy
Not a
cult?
death
I don't
cult.
like I don't want a crowdy cult, but I want the kids in the room. Kind
Yeah,
of
with
thing.
goats.
Maybe the
Take
goat.
away the goats.
I
for the
can't
kids.
come unless there's a goat in the room nowadays.
But
after listening to the
we
Mr.
want a
Crowley.
good cult. We want to.
Yeah, he wasn't fun.
I want these death cults. What's the point in joining one of them? That's silly. Because the whole point is dying.
Would you think when they joined, they wouldn't have thought that it was going to be a death cult? Surely. I mean, even though there was ways to ascend, and I'd imagine that. Let's say that they decided suicide wasn't the best option, and let's go back to the
But they all did, though,
the
didn't
other.
they?
Yeah, well, they did. But the other one, there was techniques, wasn't there, as we said, and what if it was outside persecution that leads to death? So maybe
Possibly.
if the suicide thing they all decided that wasn't the way to go. Maybe Halle Bopp didn't show up for. Maybe they were a few years out, and Halle Bopp didn't show up for a few more years. Would they have gone down that route of okay, we're going to start buying guns, we're going to turn this into a compound, this villain? Would the government have been forced to act?
Ben, they were peaceful. They weren't militarised.
No, but maybe
It wasn't
maybe,
sitting there with grenades strapped around and a rocket launcher.
No, but
This reminds me of Ben. Think about
because
it.
they thought about Waco and the Branch Davidians and the Ruby Ridge.
Ben, sorry to cut you off, but getting 2 men who haven't got testicles anymore to fight each other would be nigh on impossible. It'd be like getting 2
Get them to fuck each other.
very high people. And this leads me on. This is a bit of a tangent, but this is an idea I had. You know how MMA, mixed martial arts.
Yeah.
Sorry, is quite very, very violent, to be honest, and
yeah.
quite hard to watch a lot of the time. I have an idea. Instead of MMA fighting, MDMA fighting, where you get 2 really hard fighters, high as fuck, on MDMA, you set them into the cage and they just hug each other. In the octagon, sorry, and they just hug it out and tell each other like, oh, we'll go travelling together next year, it'll be amazing, I feel like I've known you all my life, and it would just spread love and happiness.
They may end up having gay sex in the octagon.
But that's what it would be like trying to get 2 of these
I can't imagine
dudes.
the many of the people
No,
who went to the scene.
MDMA doesn't lead to gay sex.
It might do in that scenario.
No, not for one.
You have 2 half-naked men hugging each other, telling them known each other their lives. It might, who knows it could end up.
We should do that with Trump and Kim Jong-un. Get him in a room, shove him full of ecstasy, and work it out.
Oh man, spiking Trump with ecstasy would be ridiculous.
Oh, back to the tweets.
Mm.
The There's a pink elephant in my room. I'm going to legalise pink elephants. He's convinced me it's the way.
No, he'd try to bar them. Even MDMA wouldn't work on him. So anyway, my point is, I don't think these guys would have ever got violent or militant because they literally didn't have any testosterone.
No, some of them didn't. Only.
And the rest of them were
8 of the
computer
39.
fucking programmers.
Well,
and
no,
that,
but
man.
that doesn't matter
If they fired a gun, the recoil would come back and they'd hit themselves and break their glasses and like, I broke my glasses. Oh.
You're looking into an IT nerd scenario there.
Well, you know.
Assuming that every IT nerd has glasses.
Even with Lieutenant Uhura's brother.
Yeah, you got Lieutenant Uhura's brother there. I mean, he must know a bit.
Well,
he can use a phaser. I'm sure she showed him.
They're not real. I would fire this M16, but I can't lift it up. Oh. You know, it would.
You don't know that. I mean, but
they would have stood there pointing
the
their
fact.
finger at you, going, choo choo, it's a phaser. Stand down, or I'll set it to stun. I'll set it to kill, and you'll be like, dude, it's your fingers. You know, they're that delusional in their uniforms.
Yeah, I know.
Away team to the bridge. Away team to the bridge. We have an intruder.
Oh, they don't have French shirts on.
He's resistant to phasers. Resistant to phasers. Repeat. You know, like they were.
They don't have red shirts on as well, wouldn't they? Because they'd be the ones that. Oh, they didn't.
If you see one in a red shirt, you owe yourself to just punch him as hard as you can. No, sorry, mate.
If you teleported down as a member of the Star Trek away team, and you've got like Bones, Kirk,
and you're
Spock,
the untitled,
and you're the untitled Ensign Ricky. Was Galaxy Quest Ensign Ricky?
In any film, you're fucked.
And it's like you're the. And I love that. I genuinely love Galaxy Quest as a film because you've got Ensign Ricky. And he's like he turns up on the planet as part of the away team. He's like Ensign Ricky's like, I'm the only red shirt here. I'm going to die. And then like, no, you're not. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. He's, no, I'm the sacrificial lamb. I'm not quoting it verbatim, but he genuinely has this fucking odd meltdown.
Does he die?
No, he survives. He breaks the tradition and he becomes head of security, Ricky. At the end of the film, and
spoilers.
Spoiler. You must have seen it. No spoilers. That film came out in like 1999.
I saw it.
You've got every chance to watch it. I don't care if it's
I've forgotten
spoilers.
it. I've seen it once.
But literally at the end of it, because Ensign Ricky survives, and at the end of it, they get the show back, but in that galaxy, because the aliens they helped were massive fans of the show, and they become the people in the show effectively, because they're all struggling back on Earth for work, and this is their life now. And Sigourney Weaver does look quite hot in that film.
She's always hot. So look, listen.
But anyway, so Ensign Ricky becomes Chief of Security Ricky, and has a place on the bridge, and he can no longer die. So it's a feel-good story. So it's all about.
Well, a lot better than this story.
Heaven's Gate is not a feel-good story. I'm afraid.
No.
Do we have any sort of opinions on? Because I'm not denying that there could be aliens or another level of existence beyond the physical body, but I would want a bit more proof
than an old dude,
than a former mental patient.
Yes, this is the point.
Mourning the loss of his soulmate. You know, I don't know.
This is the point. I will guarantee you, he never told them he met Ms. Nettles in a psychiatric hospital.
And if they had Google, they could have found it out. You know, really easily.
Yeah, Google. You were late, Google. These guys are internet nerds, and you weren't there.
You let these guys down, Google. Allegedly jokes, satire.
Yeah,
you say
I guess
satire
it
in
goes
the
back
past
down to
tense.
when he said, what each individual's truth is their truth.
Yeah, but that doesn't. I don't buy that one.
Well, no,
that's virtually the vein Satanism.
No,
it is though, isn't it? I mean, you know,
yeah.
It is. Yeah.
I know. Yeah, I don't agree with it. I'm just saying that's what he said.
Well, that's how he justifies
that's how he's justifying it himself. There's plenty of holes you can pick in that.
Oh God, yeah.
But I do have a massive penis. Just, you know.
I'm sure the goat will find out.
And I'm if I'm lucky.
So, final thoughts. I think we can all agree.
Captain's log.
Captain's log. Final
thoughts.
Stardate.
Everybody's dead.
September 1997.
Everybody's dead.
Dave. Dead. Everybody. In the book, he tries every potential sequence. Everybody's Dave. Dead. Dave. Everybody dead. Dave. Yeah, I mean, it's not something I can see myself doing. It's a tragic tale, really. One man's own issues caused this. You call it a tragedy, and as I think Gaz pointed out, he's read the quote that it was one suicide and 39 murders.
38, I think.
38 murders,
yeah.
and I think I probably agree with that.
Yeah, there's some
he
truth.
duped a bunch of people into his ideals, and then I don't think they were planning on, because they were against suicide, I don't think they were planning on going that way. He decided he didn't want to live anymore, and he used the arrival of the comet as an excuse to do it. So I would go down with.
Yeah.
And I would blame our society. I would blame that there isn't enough. I don't know what I'm on about, but you know what I mean.
No, you've got to carry that on. There isn't enough. Help for these people.
Yeah,
There's not enough community
spiritual
spirit.
guidance, perhaps.
Well,
yeah,
it was 20 years
spirit.
ago as well. Though.
I mean, the world is brutal.
Yeah.
The world is a brutal world, and they didn't want to be a part of it.
They wanted to live in this fantasy
and that
existence.
made them feel better.
Well, they were all very rich. That's not. I mean, the
Well.
cult was very rich. Whether they saw much of that, I don't know. But certainly they wouldn't have wanted for anything.
Hopefully, his spirit, like I said,
It's
is
burning in hell.
No, hopefully it's splattered across the windscreen of the spaceship, burning in the trail in the heat of Halley's comet, of Halle Bopp comet, Halle Bopp, and he's just like a bug on the spaceship going through eternity. He's fucked. He's nothing now.
And just returns to dust
Fucking-
from whence we all came.
And then, if there is an afterlife, maybe there is, maybe there isn't. Hey, let's hope that they found some kind of peace, eh?
I got really high this
Yeah.
week. This is a depressing story though. I picked this one because I love cults, and it's 20 years ago this year.
Do you want to
this one,
define
but
that?
This
I
is
love
quite a
cults.
depressing
Yeah,
one.
I love cults.
Well, I do
You're
love
interested.
cults. Oh, I love cults.
Oh, I fell off in this
I love cults.
In all
Doesn't mean I'm
fairness,
in one.
There are some I
love pornos. I'm not in one of them, unfortunately.
I mean, the arms should
Yeah, a porno is a lot less dangerous than a cult.
I don't know.
Depends
It depends on the
cult.
cult. Depends on the cult.
Depends who you're in fact by.
Yeah, and which genre of porn you're tasked with making, because some of it could be more painful than others. Anyway, look.
We have to do with
We've also 8mm.
Oh, we have to do an episode on the Japanese one. The what's it called? Something Shinrikyo.
What, tentacle porn?
No, he did like that. The guy in charge. He loved his tentacle porn. Oh man.
I know it's cult you're on. I love that cult. They gassed. Well, I don't love them. They were not good.
No.
But the story is insane. It's like
it is.
comic
They
books.
had genuinely mad scientists.
Yeah,
working
mad
for them.
scientists.
They had guys from the.
Let's not, because we'll do an
Arm
episode. On
Shinrikyo.
that. That's it. We'll do a whole
Can
episode.
I
on
just
that.
say that one cool thing about it was to whet a bit of interest, right? The triads, the Yakuza,
Yeah.
the Japanese mafia, didn't like them, right? Because they were muscling in on the drug trade, yeah, get the money.
Not wise to pick on
No,
them.
but
fuckers.
the Yakuza basically got an art. All the bosses united against this cult, went against them. These guys had Japanese Defence Force professional soldiers in their ranks, and they had modern assault rifles, and they just wiped the floor.
Jeez, where's this
with
happening?
Japan?
New Tokyo.
Mate, they
Japan-
dropped chemical weapons on the
Fucking hell.
subway in
Yeah,
Japan.
they
man.
dropped sarin gas in the subway in
Shit.
Japan.
Yeah,
They were,
well, we'll
they were
get into
after
that.
nuclear weapons.
Yeah, they
I
were.
think I remember something about
Yeah,
that.
they
That
are
was
like-
some
Their
years
leader,
back.
their leader could hover on his buttocks. It
That
was
was some
fantastic.
years back,
They had
then, wasn't it?
helicopters.
No, yeah,
90s.
90s, yeah.
They had
Yeah, I remember
helicopters.
that now,
But
yeah.
so, right, look.
Yeah, anyway, we're
Let's
moving
wrap
on.
this
but
one up.
Let's wrap this one up. Marshall Applewhite, wanker.
Just,
People who committed suicide with him, unfortunate pawns in his own
Silly
mental
Billy.
issues.
it wasn't a spaceship. It was a
Don't
mansion.
join a cult unless it's a sex cult.
Yeah.
We like sex cults, they're cool.
No suicide.
No
cults.
suicide sex cults, though. That's
No.
not on.
That's your Warren Williams movie. You'll end up in
And
purgatory.
if anyone asks you to go into the desert with them, just don't.
Especially if it's Mike. And
A
Nat.
1,000 likes and Michael cut his penis off in the desert after a 2-week bender in Tenerife.
There you go. So let's say goodbye because I'm high.
Right, thank you for listening. I've
Thank
been
you.
Ben.
Who have you been over
Where
there?
have you been?
Peace out. I've been Mike.
I've been Gaz, Free Biff Tannen.
And put the sunglasses on or prepare to eat the trash can. Good night.